Here are 26 secrets about Demon Slayer that you probably didn't know. Demon Slayer Mugen Train is the highest grossing Japanese film of all time, earning over $500 million worldwide. The film combines heart-wrenching storytelling, breathtaking animation, and one of the most emotional battles in anime history. It's no surprise that it took the world by storm. Demon Slayer is renowned for some of the most visually impressive anime fights of all time. The incredibly smooth and satisfying movements in the combat scenes are a true spectacle, thanks to Ufotable, the studio responsible for its animation. However, it might surprise you that it costs Ufotable an average of $80,000 to produce just one episode of Demon Slayer. That's a significant investment for a 20-minute episode only. Did you ever wonder why Zenitsu has a tiny sparrow instead of a crow like every other Demon Slayers? Well, it turns out there's a good reason for that. Zenitsu's hearing is insanely sensitive, so much so that a crow's loud caws would hurt his ears. That's why he was assigned Chuntaro, the little sparrow, always by his side. For someone with such sensitive ears, he sure has no problem making everyone else's ears bleed with his screaming. Do you know why Inosuke wears that boar's head all the time? Well, it's not just for intimidation. As a child, Inosuke was actually raised by a mother boar. It's believed that he kept her remains and started wearing her head, maybe as a way to remember her, or maybe to feel like he still belonged to the wildlife he grew up in. Like every Demon Slayer, Inosuke also has a Kasugai crow to deliver mission details. But unlike the others, his crow is constantly in hiding. Why? Because Inosuke has literally tried to eat it at least 18 times. Imagine being a messenger bird and your biggest challenge isn't delivering intel, but it's not becoming dinner. No wonder that his crow stays as far away from him as possible. Do you know this about demon marks? Like the one on Tanjiro's forehead. These marks aren't just for show, they grant user incredible power, making their bearers even more formidable in battle. However, there's a catch. Any Demon Slayer who bears this mark is not expected to live past the age of 25. Sounds terrifying, right? Well, there is only one exception. Yoriichi Sugikuni. Not only did he surpass the age limit, but he was also the first Demon Slayer ever with the marks. This guy wasn't just strong, he was untouchable in his era. He was so powerful that he pushed Muzan Kibutsuji into a corner, forcing the Demon King to fight for his survival. Genya Shinazugawa has a pretty disturbing way of gaining power. He eats demon flesh. By consuming pieces of demons, he temporarily gains their abilities, including the power to use blood demon arts. And according to Kokushibo Upper Moon 1, Genya isn't the only human to have done this. Someone from past also used this terrifying technique too. Talking about Kokushibo, here's where things get crazy. Muichiro Tokito is actually a descendant of Upper Moon 1. Kokushibo, during the intense battle in the Infinity Castle arc, Kokushibo reveals that Muichiro is part of his bloodline, a descendant of the child he left behind when he was human. And if that wasn't shocking enough, Kokushibo is so impressed by Muichiro's skills that he even tries to convince him to become a demon. Muichiro may not have the most physically imposing presence, but his insane reflexes, speed, and precision make him a prodigy. Muichiro became a hashira in just 2 months after joining the Demon Slayer Corps. That's nearly unheard of. The only other person to match that record was the stone hashira, Gyomei Himejima. Gyomei Himejima, the stone hashira, is the strongest hashira in Demon Slayer. But here's something you might not know. He didn't lose his eyesight in a fierce battle against demons. Instead, he went blind as a child due to a high fever. Despite that, his other senses became so sharp that he could sense movements and attacks better than most warriors with perfect vision. That's what makes him such a terrifying force on the battlefield. Now, let's talk about Gyo Tomioka, the water hashira. And have you noticed how Gyo's Haori has 2 different patterns? One side is a solid dark red, while the other has a geometric design. This isn't just for style, there's a deep meaning behind it. The solid red half belonged to his older sister, who sacrificed herself to protect him. The geometric half, that was worn by Sabito, his closest friend, who gave his life during the final selection. Obanai Iguro, the serpent hashira, has the smallest appetite among all the hashira. He can go up to 3 days without eating. But did you know what finally got him to eat more than usual? Watching Mitsuri devour her food with pure joy made him work up his appetite and eat more than usual. And speaking of Mitsuri, did you know Obanai fell for her at first sight? He was so stunned that even his pet snake, Kaburamaru, started freaking out and then bit him. Talk about love hitting hard. Did you know that Mitsuri Kenroji wasn't always the pink and green haired hashira we know now? In the Swordsmith Village Village arc, we saw a flashback revealing that she was born with dark hair and much softer features. So what caused the change? Well, according to a post-credit scene from Swordsmith Village arc, it's because she ate 170 Sakura rice cakes a day for 8 months straight. All that snacking is what gave her those unique hair and eye colors. Talk about a sweet transformation. Akaza is one of the most terrifying upper moons in Demon Slayer, but did you know he has one rule he refuses to break? No matter how ruthless he may seem, he will never harm or consume women. Why? Because back when he was human, he was deeply in love with a girl named Koyuki. Even after turning into a demon and losing most of his memories, that one principle stayed with him. And here's the craziest part. Muzan actually lets him follow this rule. That's extremely rare, considering Muzan usually forces his demons to obey his every command. But that's not the only thing Akaza carries from his past. Most of his attacks are actually named after fireworks, because he still remembers the night he and Koyuki watched the fireworks together, the night she confessed her love to him. And if you look closely, his technique deployment ability creates a pattern resembling a snowflake. That's not a coincidence, it's inspired by Koyuki's hairpin, but it doesn't stop there. One of Akaza's most powerful techniques, Compass Needle, comes from the martial arts training he received from Koyuki's father. Even as a demon, the memories of the ones he loved are etched into every move he makes. Demons are totally different from humans. They have insane abilities, like regenerating limbs in seconds, but Muzan Kibutsuji takes it to a whole new level. Unlike normal demons, Muzan has not 1, not 2, but 7 hearts and 5 brains. His extra organs are what make him almost impossible to kill, giving him insane reflexes, superhuman strength, and intelligence that surpasses any other demon. No wonder why he's the Demon King. And Muzan Kibutsuji is not just the strongest demon in Demon Slayer, but also the most hated character in Demon Slayer. The Infinity Castle is one of the most bizarre and terrifying locations in Demon Slayer, but did you know it's actually a blood demon art? While Obanai and Sanemi were battling demons and trying to save hostage, the demons suddenly vanished into the Infinity Castle, a place that constantly shifts as if it's alive. If you ever wondered how a castle can move on its own, the answer is Nakime. The Upper Moon 4's blood demon art allows her to completely control the Infinity Castle, reshaping its dimensions and pulling demons into it at will. This means she can trap, separate, or overwhelm her enemies in an instant, making her one of Muzan's most useful subordinates. But here's something even more unsettling about the Infinity Castle. The castle where Obanai and Sanemi first arrived isn't just a random design. Actually, it resembles the castle where Muzan lived when he was still human, thousands of years ago. And it's not just a coincidence. This means Nakime may have modeled the entire structure after Muzan's original home, turning it into a twisted version of his past. This detail connects the past to the present, showing that Muzan's influence extends beyond just his demons. It has shaped the very battlefield they fight on. Kagaya Ubuyashiki is the 97th leader of the Demon Slayer Corps and became the head of the Ubuyashiki family when he was just 4 years old. But did you know that he shares a bloodline with none other than Muzan Kibutsuji? Kagaya once mentioned that his bloodline was cursed because of a demon that came from it, the very first demon ever created. Since we know that Muzan is the first demon, this means he originates from the Ubuyashiki bloodline. The curse placed on the Ubuyashiki family manifests as a deadly skin condition and severely reduces their life expectancy. While the exact mechanics of the curse are unknown, one thing is clear: it's all because of Muzan Kibutsuji. As a result of their blood connection to Muzan, every male in the Ubuyashiki clan suffers a cruel fate, doomed to live only a short life. This makes Kagaya's battle against Muzan even more personal. He's fighting against the demon who not only terrorizes humanity, but also cursed his own family for generations. Do you know why Gyomi Himejima, the stone hashira, put himself through such extreme training conditions? It turns out there was a strategic reason behind it. Gyome was the only one training under fire because he was aware of Kagaya Ubuyashiki's plan and anticipated that he would face Muzan in a fiery and chaotic environment. By pushing himself through intense fire training, Gyome was preparing for the inevitable showdown with Muzan. This proves that Gyome isn't just a powerhouse. He's also a deeply strategic fighter who was meticulously prepared for battle. And Gyome was the only hashira who was not rushing toward the Ubuyashiki mansion when the crows warned all that their master was in danger. The answer is fascinating. Gyome was already privy to the plan and had gone into hiding in anticipation of the ambush. When he finally emerged to attack Muzan, the effects of the blood demon art used to blind Muzan's vision were already beginning to fade. This suggests that Gyome was patiently waiting for Lady Tamayo's signal to strike. He and Tamayo were meant to attack Muzan immediately after the estate exploded, hoping to eliminate him in the chaos. This next and last detail might just be the most mind-blowing one yet, but be warned. warned. It contains a massive spoiler for the upcoming arcs in Demon Slayer. This is your last chance. Spoiler alert! So we all witnessed that breathtaking moment when Tanjiro and the Hashiras charged at Muzan using their breathing styles, only to be teleported to the Infinity Castle along with the other Demon Slayers. As they fell into different parts of the castle, an interesting detail emerged, one that hints at the series ending. Several characters including Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Sanemi, Inosuke, Giyo, and Murata fell into areas with gold lighting in the background. Meanwhile, others, like Gyome, Muchiro, Genya, Shinobu, Mitsuri, and Obanai fell into areas with a red background. Here's the mind-blowing part. Those who fell into the gold-lit areas are the ones who survived the final battle, and those who fell into the red-lit areas are destined to die in the upcoming fights. Talk about a crazy hidden detail. Demon Slayer has its share of hidden details, but if you love spotting clues, Attack on Titan has 33 hidden details that even hardcore fans might miss. Click on the next video to explore these details that will change the way you viewed the series.